Alright, so we're going to load these things. Taking a piece of butcher paper. It's got a little bit of water resistance to it. I have used it with my pollen patties before, and they can eat through it just fine. So I'm hoping it'll help it keep them all falling on their head. We get some holes in it to get them started right over where the cluster should be in the center, but some of them aren't. Some of them are against the wall, so I'm going to get some holes going that direction too. And I'm going to work some holes up into the corners where I'm putting some pollen sub. And I've had people talk about having some spacers or having this spaced up a little so there's some bee space over the frames, and that would be fine. And I probably would have done the same thing. It was a thought. It's just time. If I add too much into this project, it won't get done in time. So I'm using these little cups, putting a little bit of pollen sub in them. And I know I probably don't have to be this fancy, but it's what I do. Then I take a bucket. I get this bucket is 11 pounds of sugar. There's some bigger chunks in here. Some of it's gotten a little wet in there, so it just goes in however it goes in. If the chunks are too big, they don't spread out and cover like I want to, I'll throw them back in the bucket and smash them with the hammer. That one didn't want to smash very well. So I thought about doing, sugar blocks, and probably would have again if I had time. Pick these up slowly, tapping them, and the pollen falls out in that one spot. What I'm hoping for here is that the bees are going to want to make bee space, and they're going to eat their way up into that and create bee space under the sugar. These are going to be sugar bricks by the end of the week. We've got the whole month's worth of rain coming in the next 3 or 4 days. We're going to have 4, 5, 6 inches coming in the next couple days. So there's going to be plenty of moisture. A lot of this is already absorbing moisture through the bags that it's in. So my hopes are they'll come up here and start eating, and it'll stimulate them. The box being on top will warm them so they're more active. Then they will quickly get into the pollen and start brooding up. They should be broodless for another week or so, and then they should start brooding. I need mine to be brooded up by the end of January and as strong as they can be. I don't know how putting pollen in like this is going to work. Hoping it doesn't just all mold and go to pieces. But the truth is, I've got 100 colonies out there to put this on. If I use 100 pounds of this at approximately $200, and one colony is strong enough to go to California for almonds that wouldn't have been, I just made my money back. If one colony makes it through winter and is building up and strong by April, I've made my money back. Because it would cost me $200 to buy a colony after almonds in California. So even though I may waste 150 pounds, 170 pounds of pollen sub, it doesn't take a lot of return to be worth my having put it on. I hear a lot of people talking about pollen, being wasted. To me, and I know I've said it before, most of you have heard it, it's an insurance policy. If it goes on all my colonies and only half of them eat it, and they do well and the other half wasted it, that's not a waste to me, because had I not put it on, the other ones would have been weak. Like the insurance policy on your pickup. If you don't use it 1 year, you still buy it again in case you need it. So I'm taking these burlap sacks that I got a bunch of from my friend Misty, and I'm folding them in half one way, and then they fit really nicely into the box, and when I fold it over, it comes about halfway. So there's quite a bit of layers of burlap in there now, which is going to help retain moisture as it comes up, and it's going to help keep them warm. So I'm really pretty happy. I've put a few of these on. I'm happy with the way they go on. I'm happy with the heft of them and how much insulation value that's got to add to the top of the colony. I did poke my head under one and look the other day at a really small colony I'd put some on, and there were bees up there at the holes I poked getting syrup. So I think once they get those opened up and get going, that it's gonna be a good thing. And then next year, my intention is to have them on a lot earlier. It's just the way I roll. I'm always behind on everything. But now that I got it going and I'm building them, and I'm building this out all that new lumber I got, but then I got to thinking, I've got, you know, a lot of boxes, deep boxes, some medium boxes that they get a bad corner or an edge, the bottom starts to rot off. I can cut these feeder shims out of those. So I'll start going through some of those so that I'll have more for next year. Hopefully I'll be growing and have more bees to put them on. And I want to have them ready when it's time. So by the end of October or so, I can have added, you know, 10, 15 pounds of sugar to them, some pollen, shut them down, cover them up. I'm going to get out and cover mine with plastic this year too. Again, I'm running late on it. Should be done before this torrential downpour that's coming, but I will get them on. And if I don't go through and get them on and do it, then it won't happen next year this time either. So hopefully the process of actually doing it to some degree this year will make it go quicker and easier next year. So anyway, that's where we're at now. I'll get a bunch of these done. We'll get some shots putting them on. Maybe some of them actually feeding on the ones I've got on.